Welcome to today's video. First, we will challenge the idea that expense tracking alone will save you money. Instead, we will focus on building a budget that reflects true priorities and executing it ruthlessly. Next, we will cover why income level matters more than most people admit, how to handle inconsistent income, and how to use percentage-based savings with automation and a high-yield savings account. Finally, we will include practical steps, visual diagrams, and quick quizzes to help you lock in the concepts. Now, let's preview our agenda. Here's the agenda. First, we will explain why tracking by itself fails. Second, we'll examine the relationship between income and savings. Third, we'll build a ruthless, priority-driven budget. Fourth, we'll apply percentage-based saving for irregular income. Fifth, we will compare a high-yield savings account to a standard account. Sixth, we'll use diagrams and examples. Seventh, we'll test your knowledge with quizzes. With that roadmap in place, let's begin by tackling why tracking alone isn't enough. Tracking expenses helps you see where money goes, but it does not automatically make your money align with your goals. In other words, tracking identifies problems, while budgeting and execution solve them. Therefore, you must define strict priorities and route dollars accordingly, not just observe spending after the fact. With that in mind, let's confront the harsh truth about income versus savings. If your rent, utilities, groceries, transportation, and other essentials use nearly all your income, then trimming small discretionary expenses will not create meaningful savings. In that case, you likely face an income problem more than a spending problem. The available levers are simple to state but difficult to execute. Either drastically reduce your lifestyle to the bare minimum or increase your income significantly through more hours, higher paying roles, or new skills. During low earning periods such as college, consistency is more important than the total amount saved. In that season, concentrate on survival, gaining experience, and improving earning potential rather than obsessing over small savings. Now that we have established this reality, let's compare tracking with true budgeting so you can see the difference in practice. On the left, tracking records past spending and reveals leaks, which builds awareness but remains passive and backward-looking. On the right, budgeting assigns each dollar a specific job aligned with your priorities, thereby enforcing boundaries and preventing leaks before they happen. In short, tracking is diagnostic, while budgeting is prescriptive and proactive. Having clarified that distinction, let's move step by step through building a ruthless, priority-driven budget you can actually execute. Start by selecting your top 3 priorities such as housing, food, and an emergency fund. Next, list every fixed essential expense and total them. Then compare that figure to your income to understand your constraints. Then, choose a minimum savings percentage even if it is small at first, because consistency is vital. After that, place explicit caps on discretionary categories to prevent drift. Crucially, automate transfers on payday into your savings and high-yield savings account. In addition, track every expense on the same day it occurs to catch leaks immediately. Finally, run a short weekly review to correct course and a more thorough monthly deep dive to reallocate as needed. With the structure in place, let's implement percentage-based saving to stabilize results when income fluctuates. When your income is inconsistent, saving a fixed dollar amount can fail. Instead, select a fixed percentage, such as 5 to 10%, and apply it to every deposit. Then, set an automatic transfer from checking to savings so it triggers as soon as money arrives. After that, pay essential bills first, and then spend within strict discretionary caps. Meanwhile, allow your savings in the high-yield account to accumulate and earn interest. This ensures that savings scale up and down with your income while protecting your priorities. Next, let's compare where to store that savings to avoid losing value. A high-yield savings account typically offers a much higher interest rate compared to standard checking or savings accounts, which often provide minimal interest. The HYSA is best for growing an emergency fund or short-term goals, while checking is designed for frequent transactions and bill payments. Transfers from a HYSA may take 1 to 3 days, whereas checking provides immediate access. Both can be insured if they meet FDIC or NCUA eligibility. Therefore, use the HYSA to park savings and preserve purchasing power, while using checking for daily cash flow. Now, to deepen understanding, let's organize all concepts visually with a strategy mind map. This mind map places money strategy at the center and radiates into 6 branches. The income branch lists ways to raise earnings, such as increasing rates, adding hours, developing new skills, or switching jobs. The expenses branch separates essentials from wants and emphasizes strict caps and subscription audits. The savings branch highlights percentage-based contributions, automation, using a high-yield account, and building an emergency fund. The tracking branch covers daily logging, weekly reviews, and monthly reallocations. The execution branch enforces rules and accountability and adds friction to non-essential spending. Finally, the goals branch outlines short, mid, and long-term objectives. Together, these branches show how each component supports the others and creates a coherent plan. Now that the strategy is mapped, let's test your understanding with a quick quiz. Question 1. If essentials consume nearly 100% of your income, what is the most realistic path to meaningful savings? Option A. Cut 1 or 2 small discretionary purchases and keep everything else the same. Option B. Switch to percentage-based saving but make no other changes. Option C. Reduce lifestyle to bare bones or aggressively increase income. Option D. Stop tracking expenses entirely and hope for better months. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is reduce lifestyle to bare bones or aggressively increase income. When essentials already consume nearly all your earnings, trimming small discretionary items does not create sufficient savings. Instead, you must either dramatically reduce essential costs or expand your income so that a surplus exists to save. Now that we have clarified this, let's test a second scenario focused on irregular income. Question 2. With inconsistent income, which approach best ensures consistent saving? Option A. Save a fixed dollar amount only when you remember. Option B. Save whatever is left at the end of the month. Option C. Save a fixed percentage of every deposit and automate transfers to a high-yield savings account. Option D. Wait for a large month to save everything at once. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is to save a fixed percentage of every deposit and automate transfers to a high-yield savings account. This method scales with your earnings and operates without requiring constant willpower. Additionally, the high-yield account allows your funds to earn interest while they are waiting to be used for emergencies or goals. With the quizzes complete, let's add a short markdown template you can copy into your own budgeting notes. Here is a markdown template you can copy into your notes. It includes space to define top priorities, income sources, a savings rule that sends a percentage of every deposit to a high-yield account, essential spending caps, and discretionary caps. It also includes a review cadence and a daily tracking table. Use this to enforce priorities and to document leaks and adjustments. Next, let's crystallize the most important takeaways before we conclude. These are the core points. Tracking is diagnostic, whereas budgeting is prescriptive and directs money to priorities. If essentials approximate your income, first, adjust income or essential costs. Use a percentage-based savings rule and automate the transfer on payday. Place savings in a high-yield account so your money earns interest, and log all expenses immediately with weekly and monthly reviews to stay on course. Before we wrap up, here is a brief disclaimer to keep advice in context. Disclaimer. This content is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial, legal, or tax advice. Your circumstances are unique, and you should consult a qualified professional who can provide advice tailored to your situation. With that clarified, let's summarize and close out with your next steps. To summarize, define your top priorities and build a ruthless, enforceable budget. Use a percentage-based savings rule and automate transfers to remove willpower from the process. Route those savings to a high-yield account so they earn interest. Track every expense as it happens and conduct regular reviews. If essentials consume nearly all income, prioritize increasing earnings or reducing essential costs. Finally, let's close with a thank you and your call to action. Thank you for watching. If this was useful, please like the video, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more practical money strategies. In the comments, share your #1 savings rule and any questions you want covered next.